Welcome to the Betting Above the Rim podcast, episode 157. Today's date, June 12th. In advance, happy Father's Day to my father and all the fathers out there. Let's get started with today's tip-off topics with, maybe they're going to win the thing after all. The Indiana Pacers cover as up to, I think, a 5.5-point underdog, winning outright 116-107 versus the Oklahoma City Thunder to take a 2-1 series lead in the 2025 NBA Finals. And we'll get to what we think is going to happen throughout the rest of the series, and obviously previewing game number 4, which will take place Friday night. But I just want to kind of rewind on what we saw in game number 3. Number 1, I don't know how many times I have to say it about Rick Carlisle, but god dang it, that guy is a genius. He literally wore SGA down. Why? The same thing he did to Jalen Brunson. What was that, folks? Pick up full court and wear down SGA. And I think what we found in the NBA is, through the Carlisle effect, is you better have a backup point guard. A backup point guard that can do things and not just score, but pressure the ball and get you in the offense. Oklahoma City looked really good early on. And then the bench came. Namely, TJ McConnell. This guy's done it time and time again. What a performance by TJ McConnell, getting into double digits, getting into that mid-range pull-up that he really likes in the foul line area. Just being a pass at a really good steal, just kind of turned the momentum of the game in the second quarter. And then it went back and forth, and obviously down the stretch, Tyrese Halliburton, who I told people, right, over 4.5 points for his quarter smash, right? What a job by Tyrese Halliburton. And what a job by Benedict Mathurin, which I was on last night with Kevin Walsh doing game time decisions before the game. And just the energy that he brought to the game was really impressive. And how Indiana lost game 2 because of the way that Oklahoma City's bench outplayed them. It was a complete role reversal in game 3. It really sets up a pivotal game 4 in which the Oklahoma City Thunder will be looking to level out the series. Obviously, we'll have some stuff with our award tour and our scouting report to go into this a little bit further. Let's head to my hometown team, New York Knicks. They want an interview. Interview Jason Kidd? Nope, not allowed. They want an interview Minnesota head coach Chris Finch? Nope, not allowed. Ime Udoka from Houston? Nope, not allowed. They even tried to get Quinn Snyder to be able to interview. Nope, not allowed. There are 2 different ways you can look at this. 3. Number 1, I do believe the Knicks job is the only opening right now in the NBA. 2, they fired Tibbs and had no idea what they're doing. Or 3, if I'm not mistaken, the Knicks cast a wide net and took 4 months to hire Tom Thibodeau. I think Leon Rose is taking his time. He tried to hit the ball out of the park, tried to get these guys that are experienced winning coaches. He got rebuffed. Probably knew it. 2 names to look out for New York right now. Guys that are not employed. 2 damn good coaches. Mike Brown and Taylor Jenkins. Now, are they going to move the needle like a Jason Kidd? No. Are they going to move the needle like Ime Udoka for name? No. But it's just as good as Chris Finch. And I'll take either one of those guys over Quinn Snyder. And then there's Michael Malone. So you do have experienced guys that are out there that have won in multiple spots. If I'm New York, I like Michael Malone. The problem with Michael Malone is he may be a Tibbs light. And it's obvious there were some things going on behind the scenes in New York. So look out for Mike Brown, a guy that you guys know in this podcast I have a ton of respect for, a guy that I thought had got a raw deal out of Sacramento and really had that light the beam and had that team playing really well. And he's made some really good comments about Jalen Brunson. Of course, there's Johnny Bryant. But let's be honest. If Johnny Bryant was getting a Knicks job, wouldn't he be hired already? Stay tuned to see what happens in Gotham. Let's head to the W really quick. 3 games I want to go over. One is Seattle's 94-84 win over the was defeated Minnesota Lynx, covering as an underdog. And what can you say about this team in Seattle? They have some players here that can do some things. They got some players here that can score the ball. And you had all 5 starters in double figures. And Nyeka Nwumeke with a double-double, 21 and 10. Erica Wheeler, 20 points. Skylar Diggins, 18. 13 for Ezzy Megaber. And then obviously 12 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists from the junkyard dog, Gabby Williams. And Kevin Walsh made a good reference where he said he thought that they had not played anybody. That's probably true with Minnesota. Big Feast, 25, 9-5, can't knock the hustle. But it was the offense of Seattle. Seattle is dangerous, folks. Do remember, they have a 20-point win over Vegas this year already. Speaking of Vegas, what in the... I have no idea what's going on. They lost on the road, at home, I should say, by 8 to the LA Sparks as a double-digit favorite. Jackie Young did her job, 34. Chelsea Gray did her job, 28. Asia Wilson, 2 of 12, 13 and 8. Wait, what? Asia Wilson had 10 points in the first quarter last time, got completely outplayed by Darica Hamby with 19, 8, and 7. Azura Stevens with a double-double, 19 and 10. Kelsey Plum, quiet game, but Rakea Jackson, who is a walking bucket, gave you 30. There are concerns about Vegas. I did not like the Jewel Lloyd trade before the season. I'm going to stand on business and say I don't like him, don't like it still. And we'll talk a little bit about how to bet Vegas going forward. One quick note also, last night, a couple of stars made their return. One being Alyssa Thomas, the other being Paige Bueckers. And Paige gave you her best game of her rookie campaign by scoring, sit down folks, 35, 6, 4, 5 out of 7 from 3, 13 and 19 from the floor. And a loss to the Phoenix Mercury, who are playing really good basketball. We'll talk about them a little bit as well. I'm going to say this. This girl, I compare being at UConn for the women is like playing for Dean Smith from North Carolina. Their stats are always better in the pros. You watch what Paige Bueckers does with this team. They may stink. They may not win a lot of games, but they got their player in the future and Paige Bueckers. Coming up next, we'll get into our award tour. We'll look at the futures markets of the NBA Finals, see if we can find you some money in between the Thunder and the Pacers. And we look at 2 teams in the WNBA, the Vegas Aces, and we look at the Phoenix Mercury when we come back with our award tour after this commercial break. Welcome back to the Betting Above the Rim podcast, episode 157. It's time to get into our award tour as we break down future markets in the NBA. With the series now at 2-1 and game number 4 ready to tip off Friday night, let's go ahead and let's pull up the screen and take a look at the odds right now in the NBA Finals. With the win by Indiana, they're now just a plus 194 underdog versus the Oklahoma City Thunder at a minus 235. Right now, the series spread looks like OKC minus a game and a half, right? Series spread minus 1.5 games to Oklahoma City at a plus 194. Minus 1.5 plus 194. Plus 1.5 minus 470. Oklahoma City plus 2.5 minus 2,200. Indiana Pacers minus 1.5 plus 330. Minus 2.5 plus 980. And plus 1.5 minus 245. So if you look at where the numbers that are negative, right, it's in that window of the best odds are honestly plus 194 at plus money, right? Or Indiana plus 1.5 at minus 245. So they are saying if Indiana is plus 1.5 at minus 245, they think it's going 7. Okay? Because Oklahoma City at a minus 1.5 is at a plus 194, right? So when you kind of take a look at it here, it becomes pretty interesting as you line it up as the line is moved dramatically in the series. Total games over 1.5 minus plus 104, minus 128. I think the best bet is to go under 6.5 games. I think it's 6 now. I could see Oklahoma City winning tomorrow, and it's 2-2, and whoever wins Game 5 wins Game 6. Now, I think it's going to be Oklahoma City. So if you want to take Oklahoma City minus the 1.5 games at plus 194, I don't blame you one bit. I think that's where you could probably stick your money right there. But in the event that Indiana wins the series, to just take the game under 6.5 at minus 128, you're almost at even money. So I would take a look at that there and look at that. So best bet if you want to look at it is under 6.5 games at minus 128. I don't think it's going 7. And then at that point, you can kind of play it any way you want. But probably the best way to do it is under 6.5 games at minus 128. Let's get to the WNBA because I wanted to bring this up for two teams that, if you remember, and Matt is going to remind me, I liked under the Vegas win total before the season, and I liked Phoenix over. Vegas's number has come down, but Phoenix's hasn't moved. Phoenix was 24.5. So let's start with Vegas. Their win total right now is 27.5. Means they got to get to 28 to get to the over. I want people to think about this for a second. Vegas does not look right. Angel Wilson just had a horrible game. Jewel Lloyd experiment does not work right now. They are thin on the bench. They're missing Kate Martin. They're missing Darica Hamby. They're missing, players like that are not there that gave them depth. And then you get to their team, and at 4-4, they have 36 games left. Folks, they have to win 24 out of their last 36. You think it's easy, right? Hold on a second. Ready? Their toughest opponents. They got to play the Liberty twice, the Lynx 4 times, a really good Atlanta Dream Team 3 times, a team that beat them by 20 in the Seattle Storm twice, and the Phoenix Mercury 4 times. So their easy part of the schedule is Dallas 4 times, Connecticut 3 times, Chicago 3 times, LA twice, Mystics 3 times, and Vegas. The Valkyries 3 times. Remember, the Valkyries just beat them by 30 points at home. So even if Vegas wins all those games, that's 18 wins. They got to get sick. They got to go perfect versus those teams and then give you 6 wins between the Liberty, Lynx, Dream, Mercury, and Storm. I don't see it happening. I was under before. I'm still under. Give me under 27.5 wins for the Las Vegas Aces. Let's hit at the Phoenix. As a team I was really high on. They're 7-4. Their over-under win total is 24.5. That means they have 33 games. They have to go 18-15, and they have the third easiest schedule in the W. Teams that are not good. Ready? Dallas 3, Connecticut 3, Chicago 3, LA 2, Washington 2, Valkyries 3. That's 16. If they get all 16, they got to win 2 within 4 with the Liberty, 4 from the Lynx, 3 with the Dream, 1 with the Storm, 4 with the Aces. And there's one part you're missing. Kalia Copper hasn't played yet. So a team that's got the Swiss Army knife and Alyssa Thomas, who just got back from injury, Satu Sabli, that's a 20-point-a-game scorer, and then you're adding Kalia Copper, who should be back in the next 2 or so weeks? And you mean to tell me with that schedule, they can't get 18 more wins with the third easiest schedule in the WNBA? And 9 of them are layups between Dallas, Connecticut, and Chicago. We're going to go over 24.5 wins with the Phoenix Mercury, and we're going to go under 27.5 wins for the Vegas Aces. Coming up next, we'll get into our scouting report as we preview game number 4 of the NBA Finals between the Oklahoma City Thunder trying to level a series versus Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers. And we end talking about some changes in college basketball and a preview or two in the WNBA as we give you your scouting report from the coach after this commercial break. Welcome back to the Betting Above the Rim podcast, episode 157. It's time to get into our scouting report as we break down games in the NBA and the WNBA. Let's start with game number 4 of the NBA Finals. Lines are out, and the Thunder are a 6-point favorite. Over-under is at about 225 and a half. And when you kind of really think about this matchup, it's really critical to see how the Thunder respond, right? And the line has moved. You know, it was actually a bigger favorite at times, which is kind of weird. But it'll be interesting to see what we get out of some of these guys. I'm going to, if I can get it down to 5.5, I'm going to take Oklahoma City minus a point. I think they level this series up. I think Mark Daigneault will make adjustments, particularly how he uses his bench. When you look at the game going over-under, a little zigzag here, I think the game goes over. I think they'll be more prepared. They'll be better, Oklahoma City, particularly down the stretch of the game. When you look at props, you know, I've been a big Lou Dort guy. He's really done really well for me in these playoffs. It's going to probably be a lot of juice, but look at Lou Dort over 1.5 made threes. I think they're going to continue to give him that shot. You know, he came out and knocked a couple down. I think that's something that you want to look at. If you don't want to go over 1.5 made threes, just look at over 8.5 or so points. He should find his way in the double figures. I think Tyrese Halliburton will also go over his prop. Right, it's about 18.5. I could see him scoring the ball and getting himself going as he becomes really, really important, obviously, for this team. Rebounding-wise, you looked at someone like a Miles Turner, who was not good in game number 3, I should say. Rebounding prop is extremely low. Take a look at that. At about, I think it's 4.5, 5.5, should be able to go over that. Now, do know that this is being recorded on Thursday. There will be a scouting report tomorrow that I'll give during the day. And do remember, myself and Kevin Walsh will do game time decisions. K-Dub will be on from 6:30 to 8:30 instead of his normal 6:30 to 8 slot. I will be live in studio from 8 to 8:30. And if you watched last night, you saw me give you some nuggets. The Halliburton over 4.5 in the first quarter. The Lou Dort over 3s. The Benedict Mathurin over 8.5 points. Right? Jalen Williams scored, I think it's 6+ points in the second quarter. Only thing I really got wrong, and I said under, which hit as well during the broadcast. So you'll get the scouting report, but you'll also get more out of me in regards to what I think about flow of the game. Really quickly to the WNBA, there will be a scouting report on Saturday morning. The reason why I want to wait till Saturday is there's no lines out between the Liberty and the Fever. We got to see if Caitlin Clark is going to play in that big matchup on Saturday. She's ramping her way up. 2 games in a W Friday night. I'll just give you what I think right now. Atlanta minus the points in the first half versus Chicago Sky. I think you guys know, I've said it time and time again, they are the worst team in the WNBA. You can just take them minus the points right now. Wait till tomorrow because FanDuel doesn't have a spread yet. In regards to game number 2, I do like the Las Vegas Aces minus 7 points. I think they should be in a bad mood if they have any kind of pride, which they should. Let's get to my buzzer beater real quick as the NCAA introduces the Coaches Challenge to men's and women's basketball. And men's basketball, the challenge can happen at any point during the game. You must have a timeout in order to challenge, similar to the NBA. And if the successful team receives an additional challenge for the rest of the game, including overtime. That is a big deal. They've seen this obviously work in the NBA and WNBA. They have something called DV Sport. Take a look at stuff, backcourt violations, ball out of bounds, so on and so forth. The other thing is look for the college basketball folks. They're talking about it. Look for them to go to 4 quarters. It makes sense. They do it in high school. They do it in the NBA. They do it in FIBA. And they do it in the WNBA. This has been your Betting Above the Rim podcast, episode 157. For all things sports gambling, download that Sports Grid app. Pre-game, in-game, post-game, props, predictions, and more from the very best in the sports gambling industry. We're going to do a big WNBA at the mark on Monday for my producer, Matty George. Vinny does a great job with the graphics. Thanks for always listening, folks. And please remember, it's smarter to be on Sports Grid. Good night.